Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Iris. I'm a professional volleyball player currently in the Philippines, and in today's video I thought it would be really fun to do a reaction video, but a reaction video to me playing. So it's another watch film with me. If you guys haven't seen the one where I'm setting into a setter's hoop or a setter's eye, go ahead and check that video out as well. I'm going to be reacting to one set that my team and I played against a college team here in the Philippines just for a scrimmage. My team's name is MOTOLITE and the team we played is UP, aka University of the Philippines. We scrimmage them all the time because our head coach is actually the head coach of the UP team as well. So it's friendly competition, it's a good time to just learn. I'm going to make this video into two parts because if I made it into one, it would be an hour long and I do not want that at all. So I'm going to trim it down as much as I can, but just expect a part 2 from this because I'm going into a lot of detail into what we're watching today. And speaking of reactions, I know you guys are loving my haiku reaction videos, so that's pretty awesome. Again, I plan to do a weekly series of it. I'll make a playlist on my channel so you guys can check out those videos as well. So before we get into the game, I want to give you guys some backstory because obviously I was there. I think the date was February 25th, 2020. This is kind of a new team. We have different players on the roster, some who came in and some who left. And in this moment, we have a couple of players from UP who also play on MOTOLITE but are playing for the UP team in the scrimmage. I just want to give you guys a little perspective on what's been going on in the team during this match, what we're working on specifically, which is always great. Pre-COVID, we were doing a really good job of just gelling together, and in our training blocks that we have been doing, we've been really focusing on blocking because we got a couple new middles. You'll see me really trying to force that back row a little bit more, and we have a couple other players. We have an additional opposite, we have an additional libero, and yeah, you're just gonna see some fun things happen. And make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. I would really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm number 1 right here. There's also another number 1. That's just Grace. I let her borrow my jersey. We're in rotation 1. I have 3 attackers here. I have Mela, I have Rose, and I have Mila here. Oh, I had also been working a lot on against the flow as well. So you can see that when this pass gets moved to the 3-4 zone, this is area 3, this is area 4. So into this zone, this middle blocker is fronting this one. I don't know what UP was working on at the time. They very well could have just been working on fronting the middle. But anyway, I'm overloading these blockers right here, specifically overloading this right side blocker. That's one of my teammates as well, Tots. So when you overload the right side blocker as a setter, she now has to worry about 2 things. If I set this V right here, in the Philippines we call it a V, if I set this V to the middle, she has to worry about helping on the 3, and she also has to primarily worry about her attacker. So the strong attacker behind me, I know she can kill it one-on-one. So she's left, is that Isa? That's another teammate of mine. I'm gambling with the fact that Mila can score against one blocker versus Mela scoring against a really good right side blocker. There's just a lot of things I'm gonna have to explain to you guys during this film session, so hope you don't mind. So in this situation, the setter on UP is bump setting the ball already. In our system, we specifically change our blocking / defense situationally. So don't worry about the system so much because I can explain a little bit, but I'm not gonna give you my team's secrets. Come on now. This setter is bump setting. Mela has to get out and block Tots. We're taking away line in this situation, which is why I'm creeping up towards the 10-foot line. And middle blockers, in this situation, if you know that this attacker is a really strong attacker specifically, just be prepared and balanced to start shifting over. So Rose right here should have been shifting over bit by bit so that she can get the block closed. But you can see here that the hole in the block is already forming. There's a hole. Tots is pretty deep over the blockers anyway. but it's into that seam. We got lucky there that she hit it out. Grace here, Grace is our outside. This is a 3-hitter situation. You got 1 hitter here, second hitter here, and then outside. So you can see that we have a quick attack, and then you have Issa coming in for an X or a 2 or whatever you call it. It's just a higher ball in the middle. Grace has to worry about helping out with 2 hitters here. Chloe on our side has to worry about this girl first, the middle first, especially on a perfect pass. And she also has to be able to recover and get to blocking the X in the middle, or the outside set, obviously. So they set the quick. Grace gets caught up. She's not in the best blocking stance at first, but that's all right. Again, we're learning here. We're not here to shade anyone. We're just trying to get better here. That's all that film sessions are for. All my teammates know I love them. But it would have been great if Grace could at least get a hand on the ball, especially since this girl is facing her way. If this middle would have hit it in the court and Grace would have gone up to help, I think we would have gotten a really good touch on it. Luckily, she hits it out. I don't like being hard on myself during film sessions, but when it's you and you know that you could have done better, your first thought is gonna be, I'm taking a deep breath first. All right, let's go over that. So Issa now decides to run a 4 or a back 2 behind the setter, and that's Grace's priority. So we see a late middle blocker here. Grace took away the line, and Issa's taking advantage of that opportunity. Me as a defender, I'm directly behind Rose, which is not good for me as a defender. What I needed to do is step maybe one more shuffle over into this seam. So if I would have stepped over one more shuffle, I would have been able to cut the angle off from this ball. But I did not. Poop. That's all right. I have my opposite, I have my middle, and I have my outside, and I have my back row attack. Keep in mind, again, I told you we're working on back row attacks. It's okay if it doesn't connect. Again, this is a scrimmage. This is where you take risks, and you're just working on things, right? Winning is not always the top priority, especially in a scrimmage when your season is 5,000 light years away. So I didn't realize that Mila and Jelly collided and she hurt her hand, but obviously I can't see that fast in real time. That would have been a really good attack on the Bic because you see all 3 block, no one was up. They may have seen that no one was going to hit the attack, but if Mila were taking her approach and going to swing, that would have been a no blocker attack and she probably would have gotten a kill anyway. So pretty awesome, but we don't connect, totally fine. Cool. I'm in the front row now. We have my middle and my outside. We have Mela back here to hit the D. We have Mila to hit the Bic or the blue. Let's look at this server seed pattern here. Tots is a top spin server. She's a really good top spin server too. And I would say in our server seed pattern right here, I would have Mela step up, maybe 1 or 2 steps up, and have like a diagonal line. Because if Tots hits this really deep line, Mila could get caught high because Tots usually sends it deeper. But since Tots is here, this is area 1, and if she were to serve 1 to 1, so area 1 to area 1, and it were to drop, since it's a top spin, it would land a little bit shorter in front of Mela. Does that make sense? So area 1 to area 1 is a longer distance than area 1 to area 5. Watch that again because that was fun. Front row setters. I'm starting to recognize the angle that it's going over. I start looking towards where my jouster opponent is, and the secret is timing. I'm recognizing that she's trying to jump first, which is perfect for me. My job is to touch it last and press over, just like that. Okay, I'm turning, she jumps first, Then I jump, and then I just tap it right over. And give it a little sass after. Yay! I talked earlier about recognizing an out-of-system attack and the middle going to help with the out-of-system block. By the way, guys, this net is like super high, so don't judge the jumping skills, okay? Low pass, Chloe's already recognizing that the setter is going to bump set. They only have 2 attackers, so they have the middle and then they have the outside. So she recognizes it, then she starts shifting over. I recognize the set is inside, so I cut my blocking approach short and I take away the line. It's tight. She goes up to tip it. Chloe does a really good job of getting closed here with me, and we're able to get the block. Getting them out of system with her serve. Okay. Bad set. This girl is not gonna get a full approach and be able to hit this as hard as she can off of this set and with the location of where she's at herself. So all 3 blockers recognize that. We start pulling off, and it's really important. Off blockers, since you're not blocking now, you are now called the off blocker. As off blockers, it's our job to get whatever trickles along the net and falls short in front of the back row defenders. So if that were to trickle right here, I would have had to turn and play that ball. So always keep your eye on the ball. Excuse my crazy hair, everyone. There's different timing for different teams who run the BIC. Depends on a lot of factors, lots of variables to just running one attack. And this goes for like different sets as well. This isn't just for this set, but touching the ball, Grace, I would say, is late. She's right-handed. I think she takes a 4-step approach, right, left approach. Well, in terms of running this BIC, she should at least be on her 2nd step. If it's a 4-step approach, she should be on her 2nd step by now. So when I'm touching the ball now, she should be on her left foot. But luckily she's pretty explosive and can make it up with those last 2 steps, but here she's just a little late, no big deal. For the sake of really working on that BIC, it would have been cool if I set her again, but at the same time, I'm also thinking that since Rose is pulling 2 blockers here, these 2 blockers now have to worry about her and the BIC on top of each other. On top of that, I have a short setter out here against a pretty good outside attacker. So I choose to go with Mila and the small setter on the other side. In terms of setting choice, I thought it was a good choice. Ooh, gotcha. I kind of like our formation here. I think Jelly is a great passer, our libero here. So we want Jelly to take most of the court if she can. So Mela's first step is backwards. As a passer, we want to try to take our first step towards the ball. Then she recognizes it a little bit late, drops in front, and she gets a passing kill. The setter's front row, they have their middle there and an outside there. So the outside passed the ball. I recognize that she's staying inside. If I were playing basketball, which I used to play, I'm guarding her. With the setter's posture, you can see that she's already starting to lean back. So Rose recognizes that, which is awesome. She starts shifting back, and this middle is left-handed, so I think Mila could have definitely taken 1 step in, pushed Rose over, and gotten in front of her attacking arm. And then if Mela could have taken like 1 step back or like stayed in a deeper base, I think she would have been able to dig this ball. So I'm at base, recognizing it's an out of system ball. Take my first step, left, right, left, right. I have to now pivot on my left foot. So I plant it. The angle when I touch the ground with my left foot is directed towards the scorekeeper. When I'm setting the ball, I start turning my foot, knee, hips toward where I want to finish. And then obviously I always finish with my hands where I want the ball to go. We want to aim towards the antenna. So I finish, I can still be balanced on my left foot. And you can see that I'm really holding my follow through here because I want to make sure it gets to the location I want it to go. Mila gets a pretty good out of system swing, just tooling the blockers. Ooh, aced ya. Ooh, missed ya. Nice. Great swing by Mela. Grace here, pass the ball. She's backing up and getting into her approach. Awesome. This middle, don't know what she's doing, but she's late in whatever she's doing because I'm about to touch the ball. I have two really great options here, especially because this middle is not even ready to block. Shoot it to the outside. Middle doesn't even attempt. Rose recognizes that it's an out of system set. We're gonna take our chances on Tots out here because we believe she is the strongest as an out of system attacker. I can recognize that the set is past the antenna. Tots is really off balance here and she just has to try to do whatever she can with the ball. So since it's outside of the antenna, I start shifting in where I think she can tip or where I think it can check off the block. So I'm just waiting for the tip. Doesn't happen, but I'm ready. Starts off with a really good pass by Mila. Really good pass. Okay, their blockers are bunched right now. To disrupt a bunch block, kind of got to just spread out the offense, in my opinion. I had Rose pull this blocker, so now we're overloading the left side. Issa has to help with Rose on a quick attack and also worry about the opposite hitter on her side while I'm taking my chance with Grace against a really good blocker. So I take my chances with Grace because I think she has a really great arm. You can see on the other side there's no middle block, so Grace is one-on-one. We get the kill. This is an out of system / free ball. I should be running up and screaming at Mela to get off the net and play this ball. A little bit of miscommunication happens. Okay, I have really great options here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 options. Okay, I set the bic. One person is kind of up to block, but not really. And Mila disrupts everyone and throws it right in the middle of the court. All right, let's focus on me. I'm at right back. As a defender, right here, I can see Tots' hand is like open to tip. She looks different when she's ready to swing, and I already know that. So having good eye work on defense is really key. Her arm is already extended. I recognize it. I know where she likes to tip also. So that also helps me. And then I start moving in. And I get the dig. Oh. So cute. Great pass by Jelly. So So remember, I talked about overloading sides. I'm overloading their right side over here. I'm gonna take my chances right now with Mela against her. One-on-one, and kapow. Jelly gets a pretty good dig out of it. So in this moment, I know the angle of the ball where it's going, so I'm deciding if I want to joust this again or if I want to just dump/throw it somewhere. And obviously, I just get up there and turn my body and I start to throw it. I do recognize that this girl is trying to block it as well, so I have to remember I have to go over her hands and throw it to where no one's standing. Being an offensive setter is fantastic. So recognizing that it's an out-of-system pass, took my first step, left, right. Get behind the ball. Really important, setters. When you take those last couple steps, it's really important that you get behind the ball. So instead of being directly under the ball, you got to get behind the ball. Typically, everyone knows that this ball is going to the outside. I decide to shoot the long ball out, especially since there's a small setter on the other side and I want to take advantage of that. And also I'm working on against the flow. So I get behind it and then really push and finish and really use my core to push this towards the antenna on the other side. And we get the kill. Like my little celebration hop. Why? So I'm going to call this silly setting because I have probably thought in my head, wow, I haven't set the middles in a while. Setters, this is what you don't want to do. Unless you have like a monster middle who can hit over the block or challenge the block so hard that it doesn't matter. Here's the thing, when you set the middles on a slow ball, meaning like a free ball or an easy ball, everyone knows it's a perfect pass. Everyone expects it to go to the middle. I put her in a tough situation with two blockers up and it looks like the set might be a little tight. That's just not it, girl. And on top of that, I have a tiny setter out here with Mila. Maybe in that moment I was thinking that I really want to challenge Chloe and maybe get her to challenge the edges of the block. I don't know. Chloe had just returned to playing volleyball, so our connection hasn't really been there, and we all know it, so it's no big deal to talk about it. Part of building your relationship with your middle and setter is throwing in weird experiences like this, where you're in a scrimmage and you say, here's 4 hands in front of you, go for it. But I mean, it's a rep, it builds something between you guys at least. If I'm Chloe, I'm thinking, oh, she will set me the ball. Again, this is no big deal. I just put her in a tough situation. My reaction says that. So this is Flora here. She's a really great passer. So the ball comes off the server's hand. Flora gets nice and balanced and stops. She tracks the ball really early so she's able to get her feet set. She starts shaping her platform. Her shoulders look really good here. And it's literally a perfect pass. So remember how in the free ball play I talked about slow balls no good? So this would be an example of a slow ball, right? So we have a perfect pass off a serve receive. It's not in transition where it's go, 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 go. So because I set that slow ball to the middle, I have this girl now starting to jump. This girl is holding on to the middle a little bit longer. And then I'm able to get a pretty good situation with Mila out there with a late middle and a seam. With setting, there's so much that goes into it that it's really hard to explain. You have to take a lot of risks, and some of these risks are going to be silly setting, but some of these risks are going to turn into something great. So remember I said some teams use situational blocking and defense. In this case, Flora, who's a great defender, and I'm up front, and we changed our blocking scheme a little bit so that maybe Flora can get some digs in there. Right now we're in a bunch blocking position. I have two people to worry about. I have her and I have primarily my outside hitter. As a right side blocker, unless your coach is telling you something different, typically you want to worry about your hitter first. So in my situation, I need to worry about blocking the outside hitter rather than prioritizing helping with this middle attacker. I recognize that it's going out, leaving line open. Flora, what are you doing? Have your hands neutral and ready to overhead dig so that this doesn't happen. Let me tell you guys what happened before this. So Coach Gotti over here is yelling at his players. The setter is up. She's going to dump it, which is already a trigger to me to go ahead and dump it. Oh, I love it. And again, we're gonna watch Flora passing here because she just has a really great platform. I love how nice and calm and loose her posture is. So she tracks it, gets nice and balanced, and she's able to create a really nice angle. Look at her shoulders though, okay? Her shoulders are just facing me and she gets really nice contact. She doesn't wear knee pads, so she is used to just staying on her feet and moving how she needs to move. So she finishes the pass and she really makes sure with her angle that it's going towards me, which is really awesome. It's a really good idea for passers to hold your form after you pass and make sure you know where it's going. Really good pass. I see that no one is with me, so Isa should have been tracking along with me. Blockers that are already loaded and ready to go they don't have to travel far when they block against two hitters here. But again, I take advantage of the fact that I don't see a blocker jumping with me. It's a tight ball. I can dump if I want to, so I take that opportunity. I do wish that, and this dump is not my favorite dump. I wish that I would have held my set form a little longer, but again, because there's no blocker with me, I get away with it. Isa over here gets caught off guard. I get lucky and it tapes. I get the kill. Watch my reaction. I throw it right back to Coach. I point at him. And we're just laughing at each other at this point. It's all for good fun, don't worry. That concludes today's video. I hope you learned something. Let me know in the comment section down below if you learned anything, or if you have a different system that you use, or are you taught something different by your coaches. Also, any setters out there, let me know if this was super helpful for you. What are your guys' thoughts? And I'll see you in the part 2 of this video. Thank you guys again. I'll see you in the next one. If you volley, I dig it.